Listen up, because what I'm about to share with you is going to completely flip everything you think you know about breaking into the tech industry. While everyone else is spending 4 years and $100,000 on computer science degrees or grinding through coding boot camps until 3 in the morning, there's a completely different path that nobody talks about, a path where you can build a profitable tech venture without writing a single line of code or stepping foot in a classroom. I know what you're thinking right now. This sounds too good to be true, right? But stick with me for the next few minutes because I'm going to show you exactly how ordinary people with zero technical background are quietly building 6 and 7 figure tech businesses while the so called experts are still arguing about which programming language to learn first. My name is Manir. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, one person was working a dead end retail job, making barely enough to cover rent. He had zero coding experience, no tech degree, and honestly, he couldn't even figure out how to center text in Microsoft Word without Googling it. But today, run a profitable tech venture that generates consistent monthly revenue, and I'm going to show you the exact blueprint he used to get there. But before we dive into the real stuff, let me tell you what this video is not about. This isn't some get rich quick scheme where I'm going to tell you to drop ship products from China or start a cryptocurrency blog. This isn't about becoming an influencer or selling courses to other people trying to make money online. This is about building real, sustainable tech businesses that solve actual problems for real customers. The first thing you need to understand is that the tech industry has been lying to you. They've created this myth that you need to be some kind of coding wizard or have a computer science degree to participate in the tech economy. But here's the truth that the industry doesn't want you to know. Some of the most successful tech companies were started by people who couldn't code their way out of a paper bag. Think about it for a second. Do you think the CEO of Uber knows how to write code? Do you think the founder of Airbnb spends his days debugging JavaScript? Of course not. These people identified problems, found solutions, and then hired other people to build those solutions. That's exactly what we're going to learn how to do. The secret is understanding that technology is just a tool. It's not the business itself. The business is identifying a problem that people have and creating a solution that they are willing to pay for. The technology is just how you deliver that solution. And here's the beautiful part, you don't have to build the technology yourself. Let me share with you the three pillars of building a tech venture without coding or a degree. These are the foundations that every successful non technical founder uses. And once you understand these, you'll see opportunities everywhere. Pillar number one is problem identification. This is where most people get it completely wrong. They think they need to come up with some revolutionary new idea that's never been thought of before. But that's actually the worst approach you can take. Instead, you want to look for existing problems that people are already paying money to solve. But the current solutions are either too expensive, too complicated, or just plain terrible. Here is how I discovered my first opportunity. I was helping my mom find a new apartment, and I noticed that the process was incredibly frustrating. The rental websites were cluttered and confusing, landlords were unresponsive, and the whole experience felt like navigating a maze blindfolded. But here's the key insight, people were still using these terrible platforms because they had no choice. That's when I knew I had found a real problem worth solving. The best problems to solve are the ones where people are already spending money but complaining about the experience. These are called validation indicators. If people are paying for a crappy solution, they'll definitely pay for a better one. You don't need to create demand from scratch. You just need to capture demand that already exists. Pillar number two is solution design without implementation. This is where most people get stuck because they think they need to actually build the thing before they can validate it. But that's backwards thinking. You need to design and validate your solution before you even think about building it. The tool I use for this is called wireframing, and you can do it with nothing more than pen and paper or free tools like Figma. A wireframe is basically a blueprint of what your solution would look like and how it would work. You're not building anything functional, you're just mapping out the user experience. When I was working on my apartment rental solution, I spent weeks just drawing out different screens and user flows. What would happen when someone first visits the site? How would they search for apartments? What information would landlords need to provide? How would the payment process work? I mapped out every single step of the experience before I even thought about hiring anyone to build it. Here's the crucial part. Once you have your wireframes, you can actually start selling your solution before it exists. This is called pre-selling, and it's the ultimate validation technique. If people are willing to pay for something that doesn't exist yet based on your wireframes and description, then you know you have a winner. I pre-sold my first 10 customers using nothing but wireframes and a simple landing page. I told them exactly what I was building, showed them the wireframes, and asked if they wanted to be founding customers at a discounted rate. 8 out of 10 said yes and paid upfront. That's when I knew I had something worth building. Pillar number three is strategic resource allocation. This is where the magic happens, and it's completely different from how traditional businesses operate. Instead of trying to do everything yourself, you become an orchestrator. You identify what needs to be built, find the right people to build it, and manage the process. The key insight here is that building technology is actually much cheaper than most people think, especially when you know what you want and have validated demand. Remember, you're not building the next Facebook or Google, you're building a focused solution for a specific problem that people are already willing to pay to solve. For my apartment rental platform, I found a development team in Eastern Europe through a platform called Upwork. The total cost to build the initial version was less than $5,000 and it took about 3 months. But here's the important part, I didn't pay them until I had already validated the concept and pre sold customers. I used the pre sale money to fund the development. This approach completely flips the traditional startup model on its head. Instead of raising money to build something and hoping people will buy it, you sell first and then build what you've already sold. It's less risky, more profitable, and you maintain complete control of your business. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. You might be thinking, if this is so easy, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer is simple: fear and limiting beliefs. Most people have been conditioned to think that they need special credentials or technical skills to participate in the tech economy. They've been told that starting a tech business requires massive funding and years of development. These beliefs keep them stuck in traditional employment while opportunities pass them by. The reality is that the barriers to entry in tech have never been lower. Cloud computing means you don't need expensive servers. No code and low code tools mean you can build complex applications without programming. Global freelance platforms mean you can access world class talent at affordable prices. And digital marketing means you can reach customers anywhere in the world for the cost of a coffee. But there's another reason why most people don't succeed with this approach. They give up too early. They expect overnight success and quit when they don't see immediate results. Building a sustainable tech venture takes patience, persistence, and the ability to iterate based on customer feedback. When I launched my apartment rental platform, it was honestly pretty terrible. The design was basic, there were bugs everywhere, and the user experience was clunky. But my customers didn't care because it was still better than the existing alternatives. Over the next 6 months, I used their feedback to continuously improve the platform. Each update made it a little bit better, and slowly but surely, word started to spread. The compound effect is real in tech businesses. Every improvement you make, every customer you serve, every piece of feedback you implement builds on the previous work. After 18 months, my platform looked and functioned nothing like the initial version, but that's exactly how it's supposed to work. Here's something else that nobody talks about. Tech ventures have incredible scalability potential. Once you've built a digital solution serving one customer, cost essentially the same as serving 1,000 customers. Your margins improve dramatically as you grow, which means small increases in revenue can lead to massive increases in profit. In my second year, I doubled my customer base, but my profits increased by 400% because my costs remained relatively fixed. This is the power of software based businesses, and it's available to anyone willing to think strategically about problem solving. Let me give you some specific examples of non technical founders who built successful tech ventures. Sarah started a platform that connects pet owners with local pet sitters. She identified the problem by it struggling to find a reliable pet care for her own dog. She wireframed a simple booking system, pre-sold 50 pet owners in her city, and hired a developer to build a basic app. Today, her platform operates in 12 cities and generates six figures annually. Mike noticed that small restaurants were struggling with online ordering during the pandemic, but the existing solutions were either too expensive or too complicated. He designed a simplified ordering system specifically for family owned restaurants, validated it with local businesses, and built it for under $3,000. He now serves over 200 restaurants and charges a monthly subscription fee. These aren't isolated success stories, they are examples of what happens when you combine problem identification, solution design, and strategic resource allocation. The pattern is repeatable and the opportunities are endless. Now, I want to share with you the three biggest mistakes I see people make when trying to build tech ventures without technical skills. Avoiding these mistakes can save you months of wasted effort and thousands of dollars. Mistake number one is trying to build everything at once. When you're excited about your idea, it's tempting to want to include every possible feature you can think of. But this is a recipe for disaster. The more complex your initial version, the more expensive it becomes to build, the longer it takes to launch, and the more likely you are to build something that nobody wants. Instead, focus on the minimum viable product. What's the smallest version of your solution that would still solve the core problem? Build that first, get it in front of customers, and then add features based on their feedback. This approach is faster, cheaper, and much more likely to succeed. Mistake number two is choosing the wrong development approach. Many first time founders either try to learn coding themselves or hire expensive local developers. Both approaches are usually wrong. Learning to code well enough to build a commercial product takes years, not months. And local developers are often overpriced, especially for simple projects. Instead, consider using no code platforms for simple solutions, hiring skilled freelancers from global platforms for custom development, or partnering with development agencies that specialize in startup projects. The key is matching your approach to your specific needs and budget. Mistake number three is neglecting the business side while focusing only on the product. Building the technology is just one part of running a tech venture. You also need to think about customer acquisition, pricing strategy, customer support, legal compliance, and financial management. Many technical founders struggle with these aspects, but as a non technical founder, you can't afford to ignore them. The good news is that these business skills are much easier to learn than programming, and they are often more important for long term success. You can build a mediocre product with great business execution and succeed. But you can't succeed with a great product and terrible business execution. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a challenge. Over the next week, I want you to identify three problems in your daily life that frustrate you enough that you'd pay money to solve them. Don't worry about whether they're tech problems or not. Don't worry about whether solutions already exist. Just identify problems that genuinely annoy you. Once you have your three problems, research each one. Are other people experiencing the same frustration? Are they currently paying money for inadequate solutions? Are there online communities where people complain about these issues? This research will give you insights into potential opportunities. Remember, every successful tech venture started with someone identifying a problem and deciding to solve it. The difference between successful founders and everyone else isn't technical skill or formal education. It's the willingness to take action on their ideas and the persistence to see them through. The tech industry wants you to believe that you need their permission to participate, but you don't. You have everything you need right now to start building a profitable tech venture. All you need is the courage to begin and the commitment to keep going when things get challenging. If this video has opened your eyes to new possibilities, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because I'll be sharing more specific strategies and case studies in upcoming videos. And if you're ready to take action on these concepts, let me know in the comments what problem you're thinking about solving. I read every comment and often feature the best ideas in future videos. The path to building a tech venture without coding or a degree isn't just possible, it's happening right now all around the world. The only question is whether you'll be one of the people who takes advantage of this opportunity or one of the people who wishes they had.